Alright guys, celebrating anniversaries. So I wanted to make this video because I think it's really important to celebrate the little wins along the journey. This is not an easy path to get sober from marijuana, alcohol, whatever substance you're dealing with or behavior. And so sometimes it can feel very discouraging. So that's why it's important to learn to be your best cheerleader and your best friend and give yourself the support, congratulations, and adoration that you deserve for getting through these difficult times. And as you know, a lot of your friends, family may not support you along this journey, especially if they are still using. A lot will, however, at the end of the day, nobody's external validation can mean more than your own. So this is something I've really had to learn and kind of practice, and now it's kind of like I have a second birthday. So I just had 7 years sober, clean from drugs and alcohol, and it's been a crazy journey. I can't believe that 7 years ago, well over now, that I decided to put down marijuana, stop drinking alcohol, and begin this whole path of recovery. And if someone would have told me 7 years ago that I'd be where I am today, I would have probably asked them, are you high? And so if I can do it and get to the great life, I know you can too. And it's been a grind. I'm not gonna say it's been easy at all. There are still times today where I have to push myself to get through the day and have a positive attitude, remember all the good things that are happening. Some days it's just not like that, and that's part of the journey. It's part of being human. However, any of those days are better than just numbing myself and escaping my feelings through drugs and alcohol. So this one was kind of funny because I actually forgot it was my anniversary until like a couple days later. And I'm like, it's the 15th of August. So I got sober on the 13th. And I was like, isn't there a date? My anniversary, yeah, totally forgot. Which is probably a good sign because it means I'm not counting days anymore. Now, that being said, if you are in the beginning stages of your journey, give yourself that credit. Like, hey, even one day, give yourself a pat on the back. That's no joke. I know a lot of people cannot get through one day or have struggled to even put down the joint for a couple hours. I know that's what it was like for me. And each time you give yourself that positive re-encouragement, it's gonna continue and motivate you to stay clean and stay sober down the line. Now, when you get those bigger marks, like a week, a month, definitely give yourself some love and some grace. One might argue like, yo, like you're in this situation, like you shouldn't be celebrating this, like you did this to yourself, etc. And that may be true, right? We are responsible for where we are and where we got to. That being said though, like the awareness always is there when we begin that this substance or behavior can become addictive. And once it does, as you guys know with addiction, it is not easy to say goodbye to. It's very powerful. So acknowledging that this is not an easy thing to do is gonna be a great self-love, self-care, spiritual practice. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go announcing it to the world every time you have a week into sobriety, right? Pick your shots. Something I've learned is not to go bragging about it too much because, well, it'll lose its magic. So I think I've made one post on Instagram and one post on Facebook over this last 7 years about how far I've gotten on the journey. I really didn't talk about it that much. I kept it to myself. And that was because on those days where I had my anniversary, I made it really important for myself. I would take off from work. I would go do something fun, maybe go golf. I would go treat myself to a nice dinner, give myself that support, and then therefore I'm not seeking it through other people, which can become a bit codependent. So congratulations to however far you are on your sobriety journey, whether it be 1 hour, 1 day, a week, month, year, 10 years, etc. It's something to be proud of, and it's something to hold close to yourself because it's not easy, and we all know how slippery the slope can be to go back into addiction. So being able to withstand those temptations and those urges is no small feat.
All right guys, if you've been struggling to quit marijuana and you find that you are in the same situation day in and day out, you make oaths to yourself that today is the day I'm gonna quit, I'm finally gonna get sober, and you find yourself right back on the couch with the joint in your hand. I want to first say, I understand, I know what it's like. And I've recently created a 28-day program that can help you quit marijuana in a slow and steady way, in a way that isn't going to traumatize you, that isn't going to, push you over to the edge, to your limits, to where you don't even want to live anymore. Nothing crazy like that. It's going to be a very slow, strategic, and methodical process for you to get off marijuana completely, or just have a better relationship with it long term. Why I decided to make this program is because it's what I did. And I think it's really important that I can share that experience with you and give you my perspective on what's worked for me. I tried cold turkey many times and it never worked because I was going from 0 to 60 just way too quick. It was just too much to the system, going from smoking every day to all of a sudden just not smoking at all. And I found that I kept relapsing. So when I finally did end up quitting, what happened was I spent about a month, it was a month to 2 months, to really slowly weaning off. So I was smoking dabs all the time, and then I went from dabs to flower, and then I went from smoking every day to taking certain days off. And on those days off, I really practice discipline. And so that's what this program is for you. It's gonna start with the first week. You're gonna choose 3 days where you get to smoke weed, 4 days where you take off. On those days off, you practice your discipline, you practice getting out there, getting exercise, journaling, meditation. You take those days seriously. And the other 3 days, you allow yourself to have some fun, allow yourself to smoke, and in a sense, say goodbye to the old life. But again, in a slow and healthy way. In week 2, we're gonna take it to the next level and go to 2 days smoking marijuana, 5 days sober. And you can kind of get where this is going. Over this 28 days, the goal is for you to get to the end of the 28 days and be like, wow, you know what? First, I'm spending more days sober than I am smoking weed. That's pretty incredible. Maybe I can do this, right? 2, the goal is that you find that, wow, I actually feel better on the days I don't smoke weed. That's what I found. I found on the days that I did give myself permission to smoke, I actually really didn't enjoy it that much anymore because I was starting to live more of a sober life. And I was starting to see the benefits creep in. And I was like, wow, this is way better than what it used to be. And I would actually almost regret having gone back and used the substance again. And this happened for every addiction I've dealt with. So I know this worked for me in addiction as a whole. And third, again, it's gonna help you wean off without those intense withdrawals. And you're gonna be able to quit and it's gonna be a smooth transition. That's what it was like for me. Once I did eventually quit after that month, 2 months, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm done with it. Sweet. And it wasn't as like, oh my God, like my life's going to shit. So again, we want this to be as smooth and as easy a transition as possible. We don't want this to be a huge ordeal, a ton of drama, and there's a way to do it in that calm, smooth manner. And that's through a strategic and actionable plan that you can implement every week. Each day as well, you're gonna be writing down what your day was like. And each day you're gonna be writing down what your experience was like, whether you smoked or not. And this is gonna train you to take daily action, right? Because sobriety is an action program. It takes discipline and work day in and day out. No matter where you are, no matter how long you've been sober, it's something you always have to be vigilant about. So guys, if this sounds like something that's of interest to you, that it could possibly be the thing that you've been missing in your recovery, then I invite you to book a consult with me down below. We're gonna hop on for a Zoom call for 45 minutes. We're gonna get an assessment of where you are in your journey, how long you've been smoking, how old you are, and also how often you smoke on a day-to-day basis. From there, we're gonna create and curtail this program, especially for your needs. Everyone's gonna be a little bit unique, depending on how long you've been smoking, how intense you've been smoking, how many days you've been smoking, etc. You kind of get the picture. So from there, if we decide to work together and you want that accountability, you want someone to check into on a day-to-day basis and have those one-on-one coaching sessions each week, and that's when we'll talk about if sober living coaching is right for you and if it'd be a good idea for us to work together. If we do decide to work together, again, it would be you get 24/7 text access, so we can be in contact throughout the day if you have any cravings come up or anything like that, and then we'll have our one-on-one sessions each week where we can go over the previous week, anything that's going on in your life, and then curtail the program for you so you're set up for the next week to tackle it and crush it. Ideally get off weed, right? Because that's the goal here. So guys, if you are interested in this program, then I invite you to book that call with me down below. It'll be in the description, and I look forward to meeting you and finding out how I can be assistance in your recovery journey. Hey, I was there, I made a bunch of mistakes, so you don't have to, and I know you can do it because I did it. And for a long time, I never thought I could do it. Finally, guys, I just want to say I really appreciate you for supporting me through this journey, for being a part of Sobriety University. I would not have been able to get to this point without you guys. I know that sounds cliche, and you probably hear that a lot, but seriously, there's been days when I'm like, well, you know, if I were to go back and use, it would kind of defeat the purpose of this channel. So it's really kept me motivated and accountable, so I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to 7 more years with you guys. So talk to you in the next one. Peace.